What's up, YouTube? It's Support Hunter here again. I will admit that the description and title of this one is kind of clickbait, but at the same time, it's not. Some of these tricks that we have used and they do work. Um, we do use the Dead Downwind detergent for a couple of things. We use it for washing our clothes initially, and then I leave them outside to hang for a couple of weeks. They get the rain on them, they get stuff from the trees on them, they get that outside scent on them. So we kind of kill the scent that way. We also use that detergent um, for washing our hunting clothes after we're done gutting out a deer. Get all that blood and dead smell off our clothes. And so we do use that stuff. Other stuff like the spray, we don't really use that all too much. I do have some, but we don't really use it all that much. Um, Deodorant and body wash, that stuff, I don't really think. I think that stuff's kind of pointless. Um, we do use it occasionally, but when it comes to bow hunting, there's ways around uh, your scent. I've used one in particular trick that has worked. We used it multiple times during bow hunting, and it was a recommendation that somebody told me about. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try this, see how it works. And the way around that, around your scent, is getting out in those woods. You know, do something, cut up some wood, make yourself a blind. That's what we were doing. We made ourselves a homemade hunting blind and work up a good sweat. And you take that shirt off and you hang that from the tree wherever you're going to be sitting. I had deer walking by me. They were like 6 feet away. I probably could have spit on one if I wanted to. They were right up next to me. So that is a way you can kind of camouflage your scent. Instead of really camouflaging it, you are getting the deer used to your scent. They find that scent non-threatening because they haven't had interaction with it other than the smell. So they kind of ignore it. They'll walk right past you without even giving you a second thought, as long as you're not making too much movement. So that's one of the ways. Another way you can kind of cover up your scent. If you look at some of those scents, they're like the scent covers. It's like acorn and vanilla. Go out and collect some acorns. Get a bottle of vanilla extract and you know soak that in water, and that's your hunting cover up smell. My dad's been using that for years. It does work just fine. Also with the vanilla, the deer like sweet smelling things, so you're kind of covering up your smell with something that's a little bit sweeter. Deer are curious, they want to come check it out. So that's one of the ways you can cover up your scent. A couple other ways you can do that. If you keep rabbits or something like that, or you know somebody that does keep rabbits, uh, wear your hunting clothes out there. Let the deer or let the rabbits play around on your hunting clothes, or wear them and hold the rabbits. Rabbits are a non-threatening creature. They are out there running around with the deer. Deer are not going to pay any attention to that smell. So you get the hair on you, you get that smell on you from the animals. They're not going to pay any attention to you. So um, another reason that we use the Dead Downwind detergent the first time around is because of the smell of our dogs. Sometimes the deer don't really care about the dog smell. Other times they do. We got dogs and cats, so anything that is a predatory animal, um, you want to get that smell off. I would say, whether it really matters all that much, I don't know. Um, Honestly, if you're using uh, the trick of working up a sweat, putting that out there, they're gonna get used to that smell. If you got your animals out at that property on a regular basis, deer are probably gonna get used to them as long as the animals aren't threatening them. So that is an option that you can use. Even the earth smelling stuff. Just take some freaking dirt and put it in water and spray it on your clothes. I mean, honestly, there's stuff that you can do that you don't gotta spend this money. If you want to go out and get the different scent killer stuff and use that just because it's easier, Do it in the off season, like Walmart clearances all that stuff out. That Dead Downwind detergent was like $3. There was some other stuff that they had. It was all pretty cheap, clearanced out. I think it was like $3 or $5 for a combination deodorant, shampoo, and spray. They had the dryer sheets for $2. Stuff's really cheap. When you do it during the hunting season, all that stuff goes way up in price. I think that detergent's like $10 regularly during hunting season, but when it's in the off season, you're getting it for a quarter of the price. It's only like $3 for a bottle of that detergent. So that is my recommendation for that if you want to use that. Otherwise, you can use our alternative methods to cover up that smell. One thing that we do, we've done this every year since the start of when I heard about it. From my understanding, it's a Native American trick. Uh, they would bathe in the wood smoke, and that would cover up their smell out in the woods. And deer are curious; they're going to come check out that smell. So you can, what we do, we don't bathe in the wood smoke per se. We have a fire pit out there where we hunt. We're way out in the woods and we sit around a fire pit, and I cannot tell you how many deer we have shot just sitting next to that fire pit. The deer walk right past us. This last year we had 3 of them walking 15 feet from where we were sitting. We had one actually run right at us, and it ran all the way up to the fire pit. My wife thought it was going to run my kid down. It was running right at him, and so that is an option. That fire pit works. Honestly, since we have started doing that, we have shot more deer using that method than in previous years. So, at the beginning it was maybe a couple of deer, maybe one deer. Um, so now we're shooting, anywhere from 3 to 5 deer every single year during gun season next to that fire pit. I would say it's more on an average of 5 deer a year. So that is my recommendation for that. It works great. And you don't need a big fire pit. You can just use a little, steel can if you're up in a tree or something like that, or you're sitting on the ground. Use a little steel can, put some sticks and twigs in there, and some leaves, and burn that just for as a little added warmth. Get yourself a little coffee can or something. Um, I've heard of people doing that, and just to keep themselves warm, kind of take the edge off from being out there. I'm kind of a pansy when it comes to the cold, so I actually like to stay really toasty warm. If my feet get cold, I'm done. So we have a nice sized fire pit out there, and we just sit next to that, and we do it all week long. And we stay warm, and we get our deer. This last year, my neighbor that hunts with us, he put another fire pit out there, and he sat next to his fire pit on the other side of the hill. We sat next to ours. He shot 2 deer the first day. We shot 2 deer the first day. Um, then later through the season, we shot 2 more doe. So all sitting right next to the fire pit. It works. It is a great way. We've been out camping, sitting by the fire. We've had deer walk right past us, sitting by the fire, paying us no, never mind. We've been sitting here, and we live in a trailer court, kind of outside of town. We sit right here by the fire behind our house all summer long, and the deer walk right past us. They'll come and check out the fire, see what we're doing. We'll be loud. We'll be talking and laughing and doing all kinds of stuff, playing music, and the deer will come walking right past us, not paying any attention to us. We'll whistle at them and holler at them, and we'll just kind of trot on like nothing, no worries. So that is my suggestion for that. It works great. Try it out if you don't believe it. I've had many people that were skeptical until they actually went out hunting with us, and they could not believe the amount of deer that were walking past us just sitting by the fire. My cousin was one of them. He shot 1 deer, and the friend that came with him, he'd never been hunting before. He shot 2 deer that year, just sitting right next to the fire pit. So it works great. My recommendation. You don't really need that scent killer stuff. We do it initially, like I said, and then hang them. And then if we got to gut out a deer, we use the detergent to wash our clothes and stuff like that to get that death smell out of there. But ultimately, that fire really covers up that smell. Also, you don't want that the dead animal smell starting to stink and rot, especially with the blood on your clothes. So that's more for you than I think it is for the deer, but still, um, you don't want that death smell out there. So yeah, the fire pretty much covers up all of that, and it's nice, keeps you warm, keeps that scent off. Deer don't care. Um, there's a couple other things that you can do to cover up that scent out there. Honestly, if you're just hunting um, downwind from the deer, it's really not going to matter out that much. When we go out, I smoke all all week long. My wife smokes all week long during gun season. I do it during bow season. I smoke cigarettes. I smoke cigars. The deer do not care. If anything, they're more curious. I don't know how many times I've been sitting there smoking a cigarette or a cigar, and deer comes walking out, not paying any attention to me. So oh crap, I got to flick my cigarette or flick my cigar, and get my gun up or get my bow up. So yeah, stuff like that. It really doesn't matter all that much. I think, especially where we're at, we don't have a lot of area to hunt. It's not a large area, but there's a lot of people around in the area. So I think the deer are used to people being out there. That smell of human is not really threatening to them, especially when you're only out there hunting, a few months out of the year. The rest of the year, they're smelling that human scent and it's not really bothering them. They're not threatened by it. So that's my 2 cents on that. I really don't think that scent killer makes all that big a difference. As far as uh, using like deer urine and stuff like that, we do use that a bit. There are cheaper ways around that as well, especially if you've already shot a deer. Um, if you get a quick kill on that deer, when you're gutting that out, you look for that um, that bladder, and you get that you take that bladder out of there, and you can spread that urine from that bladder all around your spot, and the deer will pique their interest, and that smell will hang around. We had a deer that we shot, and we drug it back to our little fire pit area, and I gutted that deer out right there, and it was relieving its bladder before I gutted it out, and that smell stayed there all week long and into muzzle loader after that. So that's a easy way that you can get around buying that stuff in the store. During the off season, you can buy that stuff um, pretty cheap during clearance and stuff like that. I don't know how much I would trust, that deer piss and stuff like that after it's been sitting for a year. If you get the aerosol cans, maybe, I don't know. What we usually do is I'll get the deer piss and I'll just tie a little lanyard to my boot and dip it in that as we walk in the woods. So we are dragging that scent along with us, and the deer will follow that. Um, so that is what we've had that happen before, where the deer walked up right behind us because it was following our trail. Just because of that little lanyard and that scent on there. That's about all we do for that scent stuff. I've tried different things. I don't really think it works all that well. I don't really think it all matters. The only one that I have tried that's worked is just putting that scent on our lanyard on our leg and walking in. That's the only time I've ever really seen it work. Um, so, as far as that stuff goes, again, it may all depend on where you're hunting. We've done different stuff like deer scrapes and put some stuff out there for them to snack on in the off season so that they kind of keep and stay in that area. Um, as far as the deer scrapes and stuff, they make enough of their own in the area that we're in, so we don't really bother, putting any in. We find their trails, we put up deer cams by the trails. We can't afford a lot, so a couple of $15 cheap deer cams from Amazon and the batteries, and that's what we do. But I think we only have two of them out there. but we find their trails, find where they're traveling, so that when the season comes around, we know where to sit and we know where to look, because they will continue to travel those trails when they wear them in. So that's all I got on deer sense. Hope it helps. If it does, like, comment, and subscribe. Give it a try. Trust me, the fire pit out there does work, even if it's just in a coffee can. It will work. It'll keep you warm, and they will come and check it out. So, if you disagree with anything I said, throw a comment and down below. We can talk about it. And just, these are my experiences. It's what we've tried. It's what has worked for us. So, all right, we'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll still be poor, but I won't be hungry.